we just done our 2017 Game of the Year episode, and we thought we'd get together, our reviewers here, and have a bit more of an in-depth discussion about the games that made the cut and maybe some that didn't make the cut. So welcome Megan, Don, and Jason.
Hey.
Hello.
Now, a couple of games that didn't make. Now, Sonic. We won't discuss that, but it did make the cut. Sadly, it is good. But Splatoon 2...
Let's not fill this house with lies here, Gerard.
I'm editing this.
The list is long,
basically,
and
that's the
Sonic
end
wasn't
of the segment. All right. So we're just going to go with that. Anyway, but two of the games that did make, I was surprised, our final list, Splatoon 2 and Horizon Zero Dawn. Horizon Zero Dawn, you're a big fan of that, surely.
That was my vote.
Should have made it.
Yeah, that was my #1 vote for this year's Game of the Year. I loved every second of it. It was probably, the story narrative was so immersive. Aloy being a really strong female protagonist just really attracted me on all levels. But not only that, the gameplay is really in depth, and as you progress, it gets more difficult and more validating, I suppose. But set in this dystopian world with amazing dinosaur robots, I guess. Really, really special, and yeah.
But then it had the unfortunate curse of coming out basically the same week as Breath of the Wild, and then that got all the open world love for the rest of the year.
Sony spent a lot of money on Twitch ads and on YouTube ads, and a lot of money trying to promote it.
Yeah,
and it's not that the game did badly, but again,
it didn't. It sold like millions of copies, and it's won awards after awards.
Yeah.
The problem is it came out the same week as Breath of the Wild.
But it's got robot dinosaurs. Surely that. Surely robot dinosaurs is our #1 checkbox.
But then Ark Survival Evolved came out.
Which also got
finally.
one vote in our thing as well.
But see, like Ark had been around for a while previously to those like hardcore fans that got it in early beta stages.
I mean, the other one as well that you mentioned is Splatoon. If you want to talk, so there's like a fan theory that Splatoon 2 is like a dystopian world where like the squids are kept in like particular.
A bright and colourful dystopia.
Yeah. So that's the idea, that it's like this consumerist like dystopia that these squids live in, and like that's why they fight the octolings, and that's why they fight all the other stuff. And so it's like, but irrespective of that, Splatoon 2 is great because it's I would consider it a 1.5 if we're being real, but it's great. The multiplayer is awesome. They're doing free content updates.
All the time.
Every other week. This week they just had a huge drop where they dropped another salmon genocide level, because let's call salmon run what it is. It's genocide. You steal their babies and you murder them. And that's 100% what you... No, it's what you do. You literally murder them until you take their babies and put it in a little case. That's 100% what you do in the whole thing.
Making something out of nothing, I think.
No, but it's like, I'm telling you. It doesn't matter.
We'll be able to read all about this in your, what's called?
My manifesto.
Your manifesto, your hand Xeroxed newsletter.
Yeah. Just, gasoline, no, but
That sounds sad.
Yeah, but so that is, look, it's sad that Splatoon didn't get high, but at the same time I also understand it. It's not for everyone. But those who do play it, like I will fiend Salmon Run. Like I've been professional for a couple of months now, and I'm just been feeding it.
I was just surprised he didn't make a final list, and you'll notice I've got notes here because at my age I'm very
We have
forgetful,
a very wide list. I will say that the one thing about New Game Plus is that we have such a diverse range of reviewers and stuff.
Yeah, everyone
Our list
voted.
is really wide. Like it is. There's a bunch of weeb stuff. Like someone put Ever Oasis on the 3DS as one of their games. Like
someone put Sonic.
We disregard them.
Got ignored.
Someone.
But now talking
a human being put Sonic, sure.
Talking dinosaurs, because there was a game that did make our final top list in equal fifth, which does have dinosaurs in it. You throw a hat on a dinosaur and play, which Jodie will be very happy I mentioned.
We were doing the stupid preview and she squeaked. You just hear her go.
So if you do like dinosaurs, the games you want to play this year are Horizon Zero Dawn
and Mario Odyssey.
Mario Odyssey. That's we recommend dinosaurs in all games now, basically.
Like, Jack and I reviewed it earlier in the season, and we had a really great time like diving right into it. It's like extremely expansive, and there's so much to get into it. I think you can scrape the surface, but there's hours of your life lost into that.
It's a Banjo-Tooie game. You can go and find a bunch of different collectathon stuff, and I don't know. Have you played much of it?
No, I've completed up to the first set of credits. Let's say I'm a long way until I hit the second set of credits and like the other milestones.
The fact that you can't get all the moons in the campaign is very upsetting for me.
I just learned to let go of any of my completionist tendencies.
Correct.
And
that's so hard to do.
Get my completionist on later. But the game it succeeds as a 3D Mario game. Like it manages to hold its head up high against Super Mario Galaxy, which is still the best 3D Mario.
Yeah.
But it also pays homage to the Mario roots and past so well.
So perfectly. I think anyone that invested in a Switch earlier in this year is very, very happy with themselves, to be honest. And we're already talking.
People.
Correct.
And that's before Mario came out.
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
top tier selection this year.
very soon they'll have sold more Switches than they sold Wii U's. Which
Yeah,
is
the
pretty
Wii U
cool.
number was like, say, 14 million units sold, so it wasn't that high to begin with compared to the 100 million
more
Wii's
Saturns
that were
than
sold.
It's more than Saturns and Dreamcast sold.
Yeah,
So, but no, that's. I think Nintendo appear like they're doing one big game every 3 months or something at the
So they
moment.
do it, and then they're filling it up with small, medium-sized titles. Basically, I think it's a 2-month rotation. One small and medium title, and then like a high grade.
You
either
see, like
3DS
finally
or
they're learning.
Yeah.
The Wii U was an absolute failure, and the 3DS has been consistent over time. This is their
But that was
big
because they
guns.
took all the resources out of the Wii U and put it in the 3DS. And so that's the lesson they learned was, yeah, we can have the big titles once every 6 months, but it ain't going to do anything. We need to have one big title every 2 months. It doesn't even have to be the biggest title. Have 2 of those a year, but then have B-listers, quote unquote. And that's
Well,
what
actually,
And third-party support, not to mention. And the third-party support on the Switch is so much better than what it was on the Wii U.
Daddy shop. Yeah, when the sales are coming on. Yeah.
well, talking B-list titles, sorry, there's one that's not on the list as well, which I reckon you might have played more than you played any other Nintendo game.
What?
Stardew Valley. What the hell's going on?
Guilty.
You didn't vote for the game you always play?
The thing is, I've played literally like tens of hours, nearly hundreds of hours, and I started playing it about a week ago. Like, I have literally just been fiending it so hard. Every chance I get, I'm fiending it.
When I first picked it up, I lost 2 full days. I woke up on like Sunday night and I was like, okay, and we're here, and I've lost like all these hours, but it was the most satisfying thing ever. I don't regret a single moment of it. So,
But unfortunately, like, as much as I don't necessarily count it because it was on Steam for 2 years and it was on other consoles.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's
Yeah,
but
because
it's so good on the Switch.
well,
Jason
Jason
Switch
turns
is
up
the
the
perfect format for it. Like,
Exactly.
He turns
Which is
up
a
the
perfect
stream and
format
sits
for
next to us playing it, and
Yeah.
then he'll be yelling, "I've got to get home by 2 o'clock,"
Yeah.
and we go, "Well,
Yeah.
anyone's played the game, you'll know." But,
Yeah. Otherwise, you
Good on
fall
that.
asleep and someone steals your money.
So- but yeah,
it's just like living in Daniel.
The non-AAA, I suppose, titles on the Switch, they're pretty good quality. You've got another, we mentioned, I think last year, Fast Racing Neo on it, which is way harder than the Wii U one.
Yeah.
But yeah, they do have really good second-tier titles, don't they? Yeah.
But this is the other thing as well is, and this actually ties into probably another really good point to bring up, is there's a lot of great little Japanese indie titles on there as well. So Bold Boy and a few others that have come through that side. So it's a really great opportunity to play these games that you may not necessarily see on other platforms, or you've seen on other platforms and now you have the handheld version that's easy to play as well. So.
Sometimes that is the best way to play, like Stardew.
Stardew especially, yeah.
All right, well, another one on our list at equal 5 with Mario Odyssey, we got a bit sidetracked there, is Resident Evil 7.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's always a Resident Evil on
Yeah.
our end-of-year game list.
But it was good. Like
Not for a while though, considering 6 was terrible and 5 wasn't as well received as 4.
Five was an action game. Like again,
I think Hart still tried to nominate him, don't worry.
the one thing 7 does well, the one thing Resident Evil does well is that it really follows the trends of horror genres really well. So like during the time when 5 came out, horror movies were more actiony, and they'd have like these sci-fi or like horror elements, but it was like big scary man shooters. So it made sense that they went that angle. 6, they tried to just take everything they'd made previously and make, we made a Leon game and a Chris game and a Jake who can now suplex zombies game. And I'm like, look, I'm all for the suplexing zombies, but you guys have got to do a better job tying the narrative together. 7 says, screw that, drawing board. It's just a side T-virus story, if it's even a T-virus story.
It's not really a T-virus story.
Yeah.
I loved every moment of this. I love horror games because they just scare the absolute shit out of me. And
it's fine.
Well, that's the thing. And I wouldn't touch this for PSVR with a 10-foot pole because I physically cannot handle it. But to be honest, the first-person exploration, wherever you go around a corner, there's something to jump scare you. I was all about it, and yeah, I'd recommend it to anyone that's looking for a scary
And the
title.
interesting thing about this as well is that they managed to integrate PSVR throughout for the entirety of that game. That it's not just like a side demo or gimmick or anything like that.
Even the stupid saw rooms were good. Like, and I say stupid, but I mean everything's stupid really if you break it down to brass tacks. But they did it well enough. It tied to the theme well enough. It's like, it's
and
the sun being
classic puzzle formula was still present and like really refreshing, really in depth.
Yeah, rotating the stupid figures and stuff. Yeah,
really good.
Well, as a member of Old Game Plus, I think I'm legally obliged to recommend you play Resident Evil Code Veronica on the Dreamcast. Now, the other one in equal 5th place is Neo. And this is where we're very weeby now, don't we?
Yeah, the whole thing's very
Very
weeby.
weeby now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Neo, of course, being
I'm
Koei
new.
Tecmo's take on the Soul style game, but with that more Ninja Gaiden-esque, fast, like gameplay and stuff like that. Dan, our friend from Chaos Warrior, is a big fan of it.
Loves it.
I think
Talks about it all the time.
Yeah.
And literally all he does is just redo builds. I'm going to do this build, I'm going to do this build, I'm going to do this build.
Yeah.
And I get why, because he for an old dude, he's a little bit older than me, his reflexes are amazing. That's why he's still good at fighting games. Right?
Okay.
And
Yeah,
so,
Dan and Jason are old.
Yeah. Sorry. But yeah, and so
It's time for a nap.
It's interesting to see how that got in, and then a few of our team obviously voted for it as well. So, but that's only equal fifth. Like that's how tight the field was, how compressed.
Yeah,
the
actually,
field was.
Dan voted all these 3 votes for that, didn't he?
Yeah, but we didn't count it that way.
See that?
So
That's equal fifth. So in fourth, we stay weeby with Persona 5.
Yeah, we do.
Donald,
Yeah, we do.
welcome to the floor. Tell us all about Persona 5.
Welcome to the Donald Show.
I'm surprised, to be honest, that Persona 5 wasn't my personal game of the year because I am such an easy mark for the Persona franchise. Because it ultimately ended up being more of the same. Like, it was of a really, really exceptional, fantastic formula.
All right, calm down. I mean,
Okay, let me just catch my breath here. But it just refined what was already well executed in
You
Persona
knew what
4.
you were getting. Like, yeah.
Although they managed to at least one-up this in terms of just the style that the game has. Like, if it wasn't for Cuphead coming out this year as well, this would have easily taken out all the best
Stylish,
graphics and best
absolutely.
style awards because there are like people, are excitedly talking about the game's UI and menus, and that is a really dorky
the
thing to get
menus,
exciting
yeah,
about.
you're right.
Yeah.
Aren't you obsessed
snappy.
with the soundtrack as well?
Oh yeah, I've got multiple copies of the soundtrack. Thank you
believe it.
very much, and I've
One in
listened to
the
them all.
car,
multiple
one in the
times.
Didn't you buy
bathroom.
the special edition when we were over in Japan?
Yes, and I do not speak a single word of Japanese.
Don't forget to go to the comments under this video and accuse Don of being on the take for that recommendation.
That's only for Sonic people.
I got accused of that on the Sonic one.
No, like if anything, I'm giving them everything. So does that count?
It's, yeah.
But no, like this, I'm so glad that Persona 5 finally came out this year, and I got an opportunity to play it.
We'll look forward to Persona 6 being nominated next year.
Number 3.
Well, no, it'd be Persona 5 Golden or whatever.
Yeah,
Persona
it'd be
5
something
Red.
like that, yeah.
Gotcha. See, I'm not a weeb, so I'm not up with this.
me
But
neither. I'm just
talking of
listening.
that, we'll go number 3 was, and actually, just quickly, Cuphead, you mentioned there.
Yeah.
No vote.
Yeah, what you're scared of
I
it,
know,
or what's going on
it's
there?
not that. Just,
It made me
I think
really
as
sad.
much as cool as it was, there was so much hype. It's been being hyped for years, and it just never came out. And then eventually came out, and it was like, this is great, but it was a great game in a year of great games.
Yeah.
And we're a bunch of weeps.
Yeah.
So like, yeah.
Although I will easily give it like my best graphics and best soundtrack award
Best
because
aesthetic.
best
aesthetic.
No, just the
does
soundtrack
look
alone.
amazing.
Like I've just listening to
King
it at
Dice
work.
theme. Yeah. King Dice theme alone is great. Everything
Or
else
Floral
is just-
Fury.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
All right, well, number 3, because we're getting the heavyweight titles now, Yakuza 0. No
The
surprise,
second
all there from
Yakuza
you
game
guys.
to make the list. There was 2 Yakuza games on the list. Kiwami got a couple of votes, but 0 got third. 0 surprise.
New
But
Wii
think
Plus.
of it, that's-
I see what you did there.
That's-
One,
Can you just
two,
explain to
three,
me why?
four Sega games? 4 Sega games on 5 Sega games technically on the list if we count both yours, but 5 Sega games on our Game of the Year list.
So
What-
why
what
was
an age.
0 so special compared to the rest?
I think 0 because it starts a story. It gets to set the pace. It gets to set the relationships in tow. The way they did Mr. Shakedown was great. The way they did like the young bosses and stuff like that was really, really good.
So besides like the story, did it like excel in any other way, like gameplay
like,
and
you knew what you were
animation?
getting. Like the gameplay is a mechanism to drive the story.
Yeah.
And as that, you know what you're getting with the Yakuza game.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
It's also in a way like the most support that a Yakuza game has been given in the West. Like because like there's a certain zeitgeist that's come with Yakuza now. Like 0 was a massive success, which led to Kiwami being a massive success.
Right.
And when Yakuza 6 is it finally comes out to the West, then there's going to be a lot of enthusiasm
6 will be
from
huge.
the West for that
They
game.
got Beat Takeshi. They got all these great Japanese actors to be like mocapped and stuff.
I love the
and
mocap.
the biggest thing Yakuza's going for is it's a soap opera. So people who are involved in that, it's their days. It's days of our lives for weebs. 100%.
It's Game of Thrones for weebs.
I
Because
mean-
let's face it,
Don't
Game
do
of Thrones
that.
is a soap
Don't do
opera.
that. Don't do that. It is. But
Does
yeah.
everyone die
Yeah.
Well, when I play it, yes.
and have sex with their family?
Yeah.
Well, when I play it, no.
Okay.
Let's go
This
number
is
2.
escalating a little bit.
We have to
Let's-
move on
let's
now.
keep going.
Load me up, Raggedy Man. Yeah.
Okay, number 2, well, Nier Automata.
Yeah.
So-
Unsurprising. And it's not just because of Android butts.
game.
All
Like,
the upskirts. Of
Yeah.
all
Like,
beautiful
although
bugs.
that's
welcome to.
I don't know. It is an absolutely stunning game, very grayscale, but it's a dystopian like cityscape, and it's absolutely gorgeous.
But Nier was probably one of the surprisingly good Square Enix games that came out when it came out. Like I'm not a big fan of Square Enix JRPGs being standalone. This wasn't that. And then Nier Automata comes out and it just capitalizes on that and takes that story in its own kind of vein. Sure,
Yeah.
but like
I love the fact that you can complete it up to like 5 different story arcs,
Yeah.
and that's a huge
And
thing
you've
for
got to do it
perfectionist
to
gamers that love trophies.
you've got to do it to unlock like so you unlock ending A, you then got to go back and do it to unlock ending
Correct.
C. And
Yeah,
that kind
all
of
the way
stuff.
down to
You
A.
have to do it a certain way, otherwise it won't work. So yeah.
And like it's so like people when they talk about this game, they have to dodge so many big moments of that game because apparently like once you get like ending B onwards, then it's just moment after revelation
Yeah.
after mind blowing sequence.
Yeah, and it's funny because we go from this, and then we're going to cut over. I think Gerard's going to tell us our number one. We go from this, which is such one of those narrative, story-driven, character-driven games, to probably the least character-driven game
Absolutely.
of the year by far.
All that combat. Yeah.
Tell us what number one is.
Right, number one. Well, number one was Sonic Forces. Oh, wait, this is like the Academy Awards. Hang on. Yeah.
Yeah, he's made a mistake. He played
Not a
Sonic.
mistake.
That was his mistake.
No, they wouldn't let me do that. I wanted to do the panel on my own and just announce that. But it's Breath of the Wild.
Yes.
So,
Surprise.
yeah, it's the first Switch
By
game
one
that came
vote,
out.
we should say.
By
as
one
well.
vote.
Yeah.
No, yeah,
Ooh.
all of our top three, they were all decided like one vote between all
Each
three
of
of
them.
those
So two
games.
votes between one and
Yeah.
three. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, well, it was the first Switch game that came out, and it got the Switch rolling pretty well, didn't it? Nintendo's strategy there was pretty sound. They sold it to the right people, didn't
Yeah.
they?
Well, they
Absolutely.
went for the emergent. Instead of being Zelda where it was scripted and it was blah, 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 they went for emergent and it worked for them. And it paid dividends. It looked great. It had its own unique style, but still Zelda-y enough. The changes to the universe, it ties together a few of the different timelines, like
Yeah.
if you believe the different timelines. So it has its own place in those as well.
But it also attracts a whole new audience of fans that potentially have never played a Zelda game before.
Skyrim
That would be me in particular.
Yeah.
I have to admit that this is the first Zelda game that I've actually
Full
played
on.
through.
And you were
and
hooked
you've played
with
through it. Right, exactly.
Oh, okay. I've never really played Zelda games. They never appealed to me. I should try it out.
No, if you like Skyrim, you like this.
Okay.
Well, I can play as Link's costume in Skyrim.
Yeah, same
I was
difference.
going to do that.
But
Cut
yeah,
out
like,
the middleman.
this is also like telling of like what Nintendo sees as being open world because like there's a common thread between Breath of the Wild and Super Mario Odyssey, and
Right.
they are both open world games, but they're both open world games that incentivize exploration. You can
Right.
walk in a direction, and you will always find something to do
Pure
in both those
emergence,
games.
like
Yeah.
and that is the difference. It is pure emergence. You play the game how you want to play. You can climb any wall as long
Yeah.
as you have the stamina.
Yeah,
Essentially, like what you're saying as well, the physics engine in this Zelda game is the best thing about it. I think the fact that the puzzles are there, they present themselves in any way, but depending on what type of gamer you are or how you decide to solve those puzzles, the environment embraces it. You know, there's no wrong way to do anything, and that's really
I
exciting.
kept failing a part where you have to put a snowball on a thing, and I couldn't figure out why. And I was like, why the fuck do every time I lift it, this thing doesn't work? It's because I had a flame weapon, I had a flame spear. at the back.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so because it was in proximity to the heat, it was melting before I could get it there. And it's like,
Pretty cool.
yeah, and it's exactly that kind of stuff. And then you see people hacking and I say hacking, but breaking the universe to do the puzzles and stuff, where they would like use bombs, fire the bombs, and then blow themselves up over the fence.
Totally, parachute
And the
up.
game will still
Yeah.
count it. The game won't say, no, you need to do it the right way. It'll say, whatever.
Yeah, great job.
There you go.
Let's
Enjoy
go to
your
the next
roll.
stage. Absolutely.
yeah.
As a programmer, I always look at that sort of stuff in a game, and it really impresses me. I think that the people who wrote this game have just gone that extra level. And it's not like, remember Fable, where you couldn't step over a stick? I mean, you can just go anywhere. That's
Fable is the
awesome.
antithesis to this game.
That's
Chaser.
not on the
Yeah,
list,
yeah.
but
And basically, you have a look at your arm, and it's just don't believe his lies. A picture of Molyneux's face.
anyway, so Nintendo's strategy has been pretty good because I mean they've got a couple of games on here, or a couple of mentions at least that everyone's put a lot of time into the Switch.
But how much
Promising for
Japanese
that.
on there? Like, that's what I'm saying. What are you?
I was going to say, what are we looking at? All of them.
Yeah. What are
Let me
you for
just chat
games?
the ways.
Yeah.
Because there are also many big titles that we thought were going to be big coming into this year that just end up fizzling so hard. I'm thinking particularly of Mass Effect Andromeda,
Yeah.
which was on no one's list at all.
Jesus, but that was so glitchy. I don't know, the
They released
timing
it
of
for
that
the
was
financial year,
wrong.
financial
Yeah,
year.
that's
Yeah.
what Don said before. I think was that in your on the level segment at one point? You were saying they were just trying to get it out for the
No,
reporting.
that was very much to appease the balance sheets at the end of the year.
Yeah,
Yeah.
never. Yeah, never do that.
That's kind of why the sort of why everything comes out in like March. It's because you need to get because most American companies have their fiscal year and Japan fiscal year ends 30th of March.
Right.
Yeah. So
Yeah, then they wait
that's a
until
fun
November.
accounting lesson for you all.
Yes. Well, our show is educational as well as
Boring.
yeah. All right, cool. Well, look, yeah, it was a great year for Japanese games.
Great year for games
Pretty
in
good
Oh,
year.
it was really top tier.
Like people say,
And that's not
90
even covering Ask Creed. That's not even
Yeah.
covering all these other great games that came
Yeah,
out.
Wolfenstein.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Dev
Yeah,
Wolfenstein.
I think you were the only person voted for that,
Yeah,
weren't
the fact that Wolfenstein, Odyssey, and Assassin's Creed all were the games all came out on the same day.
Yeah, it was a
Yeah.
big, like Pokemon as well, Pokemon Sun and Moon and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a big deal.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, yeah, and look, a great showing by like, the Japanese games. Great showing by the Switch. Good to see. There's a lot of promise there. A lot of, and everybody on the crew is playing a lot, especially Stardew Valley at the moment. So, yeah, look, thanks for joining us this year on New Game Plus. I hope to see you back next year. Don't forget to watch more of our videos on youtube.com/NewGamePlusTV, on our website newgameplus.tv, and everywhere else on social media. Just add New Game Plus TV to the end of it. So thank you very much, guys. Yeah, let's looking forward to some good games over Christmas, and next year it might even be might even be harder.
Let's do it.
EDF. All right, so we can already declare next year's game of the year, can't we? It's already done.
No,
Yeah, follow the captain. That's what we got to do.
no EDF, thank you.
Actually,
I
just
pass.
quickly, anything you're looking forward to as much as he is? I should have asked that.
Nah, just EDF, don't worry
yeah,
about
play
it.
more.
They all want to play EDF.
EDF, cool.
Yeah.
Well, obviously they pick Sonic. So
Detroit.
thank you everybody,
Really-
and
really, you're going for what's called French Detoire?
Yes, it's amazing. Mocap.
can't get many to stop, and now they won't stop. But thank you
Thanks
very
for
much.
having me, guys. Appreciate it.
Thanks, guys.